Hello everyone, welcome again to my backyard. Hope you had an amazing day. So today I thought we could talk a little bit about yoga. Okay, so is yoga good or is it evil? The reason we're talking about this today is because there is a group of people out there who are very anti-yoga. And they believe that yoga might have connections to things that are evil, the devil, stuff like that, because yoga has been around for a long time. Yoga was around during the days of Babylon, and some people think that it's connected to that, and it's also connected, but it is connected to some esoteric things, which some people think isn't good, is bad, or evil. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. This might surprise some of you out there, but I don't necessarily disagree with these people. As a matter of fact, I can see what they're talking about, and I agree with them to a certain extent. And let me explain. So, like I mentioned, yoga is very old. It goes back thousands and thousands of years. There were even periods of time where this stuff we refer to as yoga now wasn't called yoga. As a matter of fact, many cultures around the globe had found yoga type things, but they just called them something different. The real pure yoga is actually based off of principles of truth. And so that's really the goal of yoga, is to find these principles of truth and get yourself centered on them, body, mind, spirit. That's the idea behind it. And when you do these things, when you align yourself to these things, it actually strengthens your spirit, okay, and it makes it stronger. So that's really the goal behind yoga, just in a nutshell, okay? So these yogis, what they did over time is they just isolated these principles of how to stay more connected to those cosmic forces, or we'd just call it God, right? And strengthen and grow your spirit. That's really what yoga is about. It's about strengthening and growing your spirit. It's about personal evolution, if you want to. It's a tool for personal evolution and growth. That's really what it is. But I understand why you might think that it is nefarious and have these evil components connected to it. And I think I know where you might be feeling that, okay? So let's just say that this is the pure, unaltered yoga, okay? Totally connected to principles of truth. This is the heart of it, what it should be. So what happened is over time, thousands of years, you had individuals kind of coming into this thing, okay? And what they did is they just took bits and pieces of it that they liked and kind of got rid of the things that they didn't like. And with some of those things that they liked, they kind of altered them to some extent, twisted them and changed them to their liking, okay? Now, over the period of thousands of years of doing that, what happens is eventually you get to a point where you've altered this thing. Well, you can't. I guess you can't alter the truth, but you've created this other reality over here, and you've altered it so much, it's deviated so much from the core principles here that the essence becomes lost. And this is a problem that actually the Prince Buddha, Gautama, like Siddhartha, when you think of Buddha, this is a something that he had mentioned. He actually, at one point in time, talked about meditation, and he recognized that at some point in time it would be altered and changed so much that people would lose the essence of meditation. And it happened. It actually did happen. It actually happens in lots of things. It even happens in martial arts, believe it or not. It's the same thing, different picture. That's the only difference, okay? And so that might be what you're feeling, is all that, all those alterations out there that have been done to it over time, okay? Now, I'm not saying that these people had the intention of altering it to the point where it was totally disconnected from the truth, but that's just kind of what happened. I don't know that there was any intention to do that, or if it was nefarious. I think it's just kind of just something that happens. Anyways, so you might be thinking now, like, hey, Josh, okay, you got my attention, but how do I know for sure that it isn't a bad thing, this isn't an evil thing? And that's a great question. How do we know? Okay, well, let's take a look at it, and then we'll decide on our own, okay? So I'm going to give you some information from this book right here. It's called The Spiritual Science of Kriya Yoga. I've had this book for 22 years. It's actually the book that got me into yoga, okay? And I probably wouldn't have gotten into it had I read this book and seen that there was much more to yoga than what I thought even, okay? So, you know the yoga postures, the stretching and things like that, the physical aspects of it, that's actually one component of a much larger picture. There's actually 8 components to real yoga. Okay, the stretching stuff, we call those asanas. The stretching part of yoga, that's the one aspect is we refer to that as hatha yoga. So hatha yoga is basically any physical yoga that you do. So like I said, there's 8 components to this. And the bottom structure, these first 2 components are the moral code that you're supposed to uphold in the practice of yoga. So we're going to take a look at that. That's really the core of all this. We're going to take a look and then we'll decide if this is the work of something nefarious or if it's good, okay? So the first 2 tiers on the bottom are called the yamas and niyamas. So a yama is something that you're supposed to do. It translates as, I'm sorry, a yama is something you're not supposed to do. It translates as abstention, okay? Refraining from. And then the other part is called a niyama. And the niyama is something that you're supposed to do, something you're supposed to be practicing on a daily basis. There's 5 in each category, okay? So you can almost think of it as like a 10 Commandments kind of setup or structure. They're not exactly like the 10 Commandments as far as like what they say, but there are some very strong correlations between the two. So let's take a look here. So the first yama is the practice of nonviolence. So you're not supposed to be violent, okay? You're supposed to not practice violence and try to neutralize it whenever you can. The second one is the practice of truthfulness. So when you talk and speak and even in your actions, you're supposed to be as truthful as you possibly can. Now sometimes you don't know the truth, but it really comes down to the intention. So you're intending to live in the truth. That's really what this is referring to. The third one is non-stealing, and that applies to physical objects as well as like a person's dignity and things like that too. Even conceptual things you're not supposed to steal. The fourth one is celibacy, and yes, it does refer to no sex, but in a much larger context, you could think of it as conservation of your energy, okay, your internal energy. And then the last one is non-greed, okay? Those are the 5 yamas. Those are the things that you're supposed to be abstaining from them. It's kind of written up a little weird, but I think you get the idea of what I'm talking about. All right, so the next tier is called the niyamas, okay? Now these are things that you're supposed to be doing, okay? The first one is the practice of purity, okay? And that applies to body and mind and thoughts as well. So you're taking care of your health. That's the idea. You're also taking care of your mind. You're careful about what you expose your mind to. You could think of it that way. That would definitely fit into the picture. The second niyama is called contentment. Contentment in this context is like being present in the moment. You're not necessarily longing for something. You're not necessarily trying to get away from anything. You're basically living in the moment, trying to be centered on, I guess, centered on the way or the path, your natural path of evolution. The third one is austerity, okay? Sometimes you see this one flipped out with self-discipline. So that's really what austerity is. It's the practice of self-discipline, okay? Mastery over your own mind, over your own body and emotions. The fourth one is self-study. This is the continuous development of yourself, okay? Now there's a big movement out there around that whole concept. The Tony Robbins videos and courses that he offers Brian Tracy is another guy that's in the self-help department, self-improvement department. A guy named Robert Kiyosaki has his own program too, very good program. But that's what this refers to. Self-study is really the continuous development of yourself in a positive way. And then the last one is centering on God. And really what this is you're developing a relationship with the Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call it. I call it the universe, God. To me, those are the same things. And that's really what centering on God is. It's you're establishing that connection, and then you're making it stronger through your practices. So if we look at all that and think about it, does that sound evil and nefarious? I always thought that the devil, or Satan, was considered to be the father of lies. And if you look at that third or that second yama there, it's truthfulness. You're supposed to be practicing the truth, which would kind of negate some of those ideas that you think that a person might think yoga is evil, right? Because if he's the father of lies and you're supposed to be practicing the truth, I think you get the picture. Okay, so just to let you know, I've been practicing yoga for over 20 years, 22 years, somewhere in that. And I can tell you from personal experience, because I have put this stuff to the test, okay? It's a tall order. Those yamas and niyamas are a tall order, especially that celibacy thing, right? When you're married, that one's a toughie. Anyways, for the most part, I've been practicing this stuff. I've been trying to be as truthful as I possibly can. And there are magical things that happen when you practice the truth. You would be surprised at some of the things you can accomplish by mastery over that, like the insights that will develop in your mind and things like that. It's pretty amazing. And I can tell you, after 22 years of practicing yoga, at least to the level that I try to live, to every detail of this thing. It's like I said, it's tough, right? But just as far as I've gotten in this practice of yoga, I can tell you that it appears to be a very, very positive thing, body, mind, and spirit. I cannot imagine the train wreck I would be had I not taken up a yoga practice. It's not only myself, but I have seen it in many, many other people as well. And I think that if you were to do it, you will probably find the same things. So I just want to let you guys know that, because I care about you. I wish you good luck. And life is hard as it is, right? So if we can just help each other out, I think we're all going to be in a better place. And we can, and if we have this practice of yoga, I think it lays out a format to grow and develop as an individual, okay, in a positive way. And if we can take those concepts and widen them out, to maybe your family, right? Now a bigger group is doing this, right? A bigger group is getting connected to these things. And then if we grow it big enough, we could get ourselves into a position where we might be able to correct some of these major issues that we have on the planet. So I think it provides a framework to develop yourself consciously and hopefully restore peace and prosperity to everyone on the planet. Okay, everyone, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. If you know some people who are kind of on the fence about yoga, or maybe have some negative connotations about yoga for whatever reason, maybe this would be good to show them. Who knows? Anyways, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.